Just when we thought the Yellowstone universe had given us all it could, boom, Taylor Sheridan drops a bombshell. A brand new sequel has officially been announced, and it's titled The Madison. This isn't just another spin-off. This is the continuation we've all been waiting for. As a result of this announcement, 3 significant fan theories that we had been speculating about for close to a year have now been established. First, The Madison picks up right where Yellowstone ends, diving headfirst into the aftermath of the Dutton family saga. Second, the legendary Michelle Pfeiffer has been cast as the series' lead. Yes, you heard that right. Thirdly, and perhaps most shocking of all, she will be joined as co-led by Kurt Russell, making this one of the most exciting casting decisions in recent television history. This isn't just a new chapter, it's the next evolution of the Yellowstone legacy. Let's break down everything you need to know. This latest development surrounding the Madison has sent shockwaves through the Yellowstone fandom, not just because of the show itself, but because of what it means for another highly anticipated project, 1944. Until recently, Kurt Russell's name was almost synonymous with 1944. It had been rumored by critics, fans, and even insiders in the business that he would direct the cast of this much-talked-about prequel. But with Russell now officially cast in the Madison, the entire landscape has shifted. The momentum 1944 was quietly building now faces a major question: who will step into the spotlight in Russell's absence? And without him, how will the story develop? This change doesn't necessarily spell trouble for 1944, but it does shift the narrative and creative expectations. With Taylor Sheridan at the helm, we know he doesn't make casting decisions lightly. Therefore, if Russell appears in the Madison, it indicates that the story has a significant impact on the Yellowstone saga as a whole. Additionally, it raises concerns regarding the ways in which these upcoming series will connect, overlap, or even conflict. Are we looking at a new generation of characters building upon the Dutton legacy? Or are we about to witness a full-circle moment that redefines everything we thought we knew about this universe? So without further ado, let's get down to business and answer the burning questions. Who will star in the 1944 remake? Which era will it investigate? And how will it add to the mythology we've come to love? Most importantly, when can we expect it? If you thought the Yellowstone universe was winding down, think again. The next 12 months are about to be packed with more drama, more legacy, and more unforgettable storytelling than ever before. Here's what's on the horizon. First, the final chapter of the original Yellowstone series premieres on November 10, 2025, a conclusion nearly a decade in the making. Then comes the long-awaited return of 1923, with Season 2 expected in spring 2026. That same season, the Madison will make its explosive debut, bringing with it new faces, new stakes, and a fresh lens on the post-Dutton era. And finally, 1944, the mysterious prequel that's been quietly building buzz for months, will step into the spotlight. Let me know which Yellowstone release you're most excited about. 1923 is still ongoing, but 1944 will continue the story from there, leading us through the Dutton family's World War II years. It's possible that 1944 marked the turning point in the Dutton family's history, the moment when the land, values, and people of the ranch became what they are today. Think about it. How different would John Dutton be if his father had grown up in a world shaped by global war, loss, and resilience? 1944 promises to pull back the curtain on those unanswered questions. And we want to know, which do you think is more probable? Could Spencer and Alexandra return as central figures? Or are we about to meet an entirely new Dutton who will redefine the bloodline? Drop your thoughts below. I'd love to hear your take. Given that Taylor Sheridan has already shown us how war and generational trauma ripple through the Dutton family, World War II carries a lot of weight in this universe. We saw in 1883 how James Dutton's worldview was shaped by the Civil War. In 1923, we followed Spencer Dutton through the horrors of World War II, witnessing the emotional scars he carried long after the battlefield. 1944 will naturally continue that legacy by looking at how World War II transformed the Dutton family and shaped not only the ranch, but also the family as a whole. Additionally, a comprehensive historical context can be utilized. During WWII, Montana's ranches played a vital role in supporting the war effort, especially in beef production. This might make it possible to show 1944 as the Yellowstone Ranch's golden age, when it was prosperous, powerful, and prominent. But there was a cost to this golden age. Ranches in Montana were forced to adapt as a result of the large number of men who were drafted. This could mean 1944 will highlight the strong women of the Dutton legacy stepping into leadership roles, managing the ranch, and setting the stage for fierce female figures like Beth Dutton in the future. Not to mention, Montana also hosted several military training facilities during the war, bringing soldiers, conflict, and perhaps even danger arrives directly at the Yellowstone Ranch's doorstep. Imagine the tension if a young Dutton returned from war, broken and changed only to find a family and a ranch that had moved on without him. If John Dutton, II, is the main character in this chapter, 1944 could show how he struggles as a veteran inside, showing how war shaped the man who would raise the next Yellowstone patriarch. One thing is certain, 1944 could be one of the most powerful entries in the entire Yellowstone universe if it achieves the emotional depth, historical richness, and character-driven storytelling we have come to expect. Are you excited to learn more about John Dutton's past? I'm dying to know more about him. Speculation and leaks from the franchise's backstage should be revisited when it comes to casting. Let's be honest, almost every rumor about the franchise has been proven correct up until this point. As a result, it's likely that yet another rumor will come true for 1944. We are aware that Taylor Sheridan was the only person who wanted Matthew McConaughey to be a part of the franchise. However, it appears that negotiations were halted by financial issues, at least for the subsequent series. However, McConaughey's trip to Yellowstone does not necessarily come to an end here. For instance, Kurt Russell was thought to be in 1944, but he ended up being cast in the Madison. The reverse could happen for McConaughey. Despite the difficulties with the budget, there are still rumors that he will be cast in 1944. We ought to examine 1923 for the remainder of the cast. Given that 1944 is set just over 20 years later, we might see some younger characters from 1923 reappear in older versions. Jack and Elizabeth Dutton are expected to be key figures, and Alexandra could also return. Which 1923 character would you most like to see in 1944? I'm going to vote for Alexandra. It's not just that 1944 is the next prequel in the Yellowstone series that makes it so significant. The reason for this is that it bears the full weight of everything that has come before it. It's more than just a new series. It's a continuation of a tradition we already adore. From the westward trials of 1883 to the roaring battles and personal scars of 1923, each chapter has laid the emotional groundwork that 1944 now has the responsibility to honor and elevate. Fans already know these characters, their hardships, their victories, and their flaws. That emotional investment means the stakes for 1944 are sky high. If done right, it could be a masterpiece that enriches the Yellowstone saga. However, if it fails, it may indicate the beginning of the end for this unique storytelling universe. 1944 is playing on familiar ground, in contrast to the Madison, a bold new sequel that ventures into uncharted territory following Yellowstone. It's revisiting a timeline where our hearts already reside. Because of precisely this, it is the franchise's most significant release. 1944 must live up to expectations shaped by two powerful prequels and decades of Dutton family lore, whereas the Madison can reinvent itself. It will either ignite a new wave of spin-offs rooted in the strength of the past, or become a cautionary tale about stretching a franchise too far. Taylor Sheridan is the only person who truly comprehends this. His storytelling thrives on generational trauma, moral complexity, and the ties between land and legacy. That's why 1944 has to strike a perfect balance between action and emotional weight. It's not just about showing war, it's about showing how war shaped the soul of the Dutton family and the ranch that came to define them. Additionally, there is the issue of timing. Right now, 1944 is expected to premiere in September 2026, after 1923 Season 2 concludes. But here's where things get even more interesting. Sheridan has a long-standing creative habit of naming his prequels after the exact year they're set in and releasing them 80 years later. 1883 came out in 2021, 1923 in 2023, and 1944 was initially aimed for a 2025 release, exactly 80 years after its setting. Now that the timeline has moved into late 2026, there is talk that Sheridan might change the title of the show from 1944 to 1945 in order to keep that iconic 80-year historical mirror. It's a small detail, but it says a lot about his commitment to combining dramatic storytelling with real-world history. But whether it's titled 1944 or 1945, the message is the same. This series represents a defining crossroads for the Dutton legacy. It is where destiny meets history, and it is also where the earliest traces of the present-day Yellowstone will be discovered. The question now is, will 1944 or 1945 deliver the emotional payoff we've been waiting for? Or will it end a story that has captivated millions of people? The future will tell. But one thing's for sure, the future of Yellowstone hinges on it. If you're as excited as I am to uncover the next chapter of the Dutton legacy in 1944 and all the twists still to come in the Yellowstone universe, make sure to like this video, hit that follow button, and join our growing community of fans who love digging deep into these stories. Thanks for watching, thank you for your support, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, stay curious, stay passionate, and keep the Yellowstone spirit alive.